And thank you everyone for joining. My name is Taimur Ghafoor and I'm one of the accountants in Osome UK. I mainly look after the e-commerce clients and help with the automation of bookkeeping and accounting in terms of e-commerce. As we all know, the Brexit is almost here and our focus is to ensure that we all still compliant, necessary paperwork is in place and to continue trading and growing our e-commerce business. Now, one of the areas that is drastically changing is VAT and the import and export side of things, especially in the UK. And my main aim today is to help you understand these changes and to prepare for it. Now, before we jump into the complexity, I will quickly just go through the basics of what VAT is and what it means for your business. Now, most of you are already an e-commerce business and you know you've been dealing with VAT, but just to give you a quick heads up and what VAT actually means and where it works out to be on your business side of things. So VAT is value added tax. It's a consumption tax that the end consumer pays on consuming any services and goods. Now, depending on the type of service and product you're providing, you charge either 20%, 5% or zero rate VAT in UK to your customers. You collect that money and return it to HMRC. So all that means is you're collecting VAT as a form of tax on behalf of the government and paying it back to them. Now, some rates state that 20% covers majority of the goods and services, where 5% are things on children car seats and home energy products, just for an example, and zero rated items are mainly food and children clothing stuff. Now, what it means in terms of the actual calculation itself and how it works. So I have a very basic example here, and let's say we keep it simple. You have a UK supplier, you have your UK e-commerce business, and you have UK customers. So what you tend to do is you get products from your UK suppliers in your business and you pay the money to them for that. And let's say you receive an invoice from them saying £7.20. Now that £7.20 says £6 plus VAT. So it means that £1.20 is the VAT element that you have paid to your supplier. Now, on the other side, when you sell that item to your customers, you pay you ask them for £10 plus VAT, a total of £12. You're collecting that £2 extra for HMRC and recording the £10 as your sales. The amount that is VAT due to the HMRC back that you need to pay is 80 pence. That's the difference of what you collected and what you paid. So the difference between input VAT and output VAT. And that 80p is what you need to pay back to HMRC by the end of your period. So why is VAT an important element for e-commerce businesses? There are slightly more complicated scenarios and elements that are enforced in e-commerce business itself. And some of the common issues that I could think of is, if you're selling on eBay, for example, the fees that eBay charges you to sell on their platform is a VATable fees because e-commerce eBay is a VAT registered business in UK. Therefore, you claim the money back on the VAT that you pay on their fees. Amazon, however, is slightly different. Amazon is not a UK registered VAT registered business, and the way that works is, if you pay them, if you provide them with the VAT registration number, they will stop charging you VAT on the fees because it's covered under the reverse charge. Again, that's a separate topic. But if you don't have a VAT number and you don't provide them VAT number, they will charge you VAT on their invoices. You can claim that money back again through the input system that I mentioned, but you need a VAT invoice from Amazon. So you can see both somewhat similar type of platforms, but the way VAT is treated is different. Again, you will see further down, given the new rules, Amazon will start charging the VAT similar to eBay because they're now obliged to register in UK for VAT purposes. But the point is to tell you how VAT can be difficult and different on different platforms and different areas. And if you're selling in both, then you need to treat it differently. One last example I have on this is shipment services. So on e-commerce, you normally charge for your products, but you also charge for the shipping fees. So you normally keep a bit of a commission on it or you don't. But what you charge to customer, because it's a sale for you, you still need to charge them VAT. And normally people just say it's standard 20% VAT, but the actual rule is you follow the exact rates of what you're selling. So if you're selling a product of 5% VAT, you charge 5% on shipment. If you're doing a zero rate, then you do zero rate. And if you're doing a mix with a bundle, then you divide the proportion of shipment on the same proportion of your product that you're selling. So it becomes slightly more complicated for e-commerce business, and that's why you need to be on top of VAT to make sure that you're VAT compliant and you're not losing out money on different fees and shipment costs and stuff like that. Now, the main part is about the Brexit and the new rule. And the new rule revolves around the £135 rule. And what the government is trying to say and claim is that this new rule is an effective way of collecting VAT and is more competitive. Now that we're not a part of single market anymore, obviously we need to be more competitive, and that is what the government is implying here, that this rule does. And this rule implies to the business of goods that are delivered from inventory stored outside the UK with a parcel value of £135 or less, or goods delivered from inventory stored in UK, but the seller, for example, you yourself are not a UK established business. Now, if you're doing these things on a marketplace, the marketplace will charge VAT on your sales submitted plus pay it to HMRC. So this is a lot more similar to what happens in US, where you do sales tax at the point of sales, and the market you're trading on, that pays sales tax on your behalf and sends you a report at the end of the day. So this would be a lot more similar to that. If you're not involved in a marketplace and you're doing it through your own website or through your own fulfillment channels, and you're an overseas business, now you need to register for VAT and account for VAT yourself. So those are the changes, and that's how the government is saying this new rule will be effective in collecting the VAT from the end customer. So less admin work for the business owners yourself. How it is competitive? At the moment, we have this rule relief called low value consignment relief, and that was capped to £15. So up until £15, if any consignment coming in the UK, you don't pay any import VAT or custom on it. But that is now going away, and you now have a new rule, which is again up to £135. And the way VAT will be collected is through marketplace rather than yourself. So that's how they're being competitive. Another new rule that they've introduced, but we need more information on it. But what they're saying is that if your consignments are more than £135 and you're bringing the goods into UK, rather than paying the import VAT on spot, you will be allowed to apply for a postponed VAT accounting. What that means is that you account for the VAT on your VAT returns rather than paying it on spot. So this will help you a bit more on your cash flow when you're bringing in the consignment in UK. So those are the two things that the UK government is trying to achieve, is effectiveness of collecting the VAT and competitiveness on those two. Now, what is this 135 made of, and what is a marketplace? And you need to understand these both elements to understand which platform are you trading on, and if that is a marketplace, and are the rules same for you or not. So 135 is based on the intrinsic value, the consignment value. So it cannot be, let's say if one consignment coming up with 10 items, but each item is not more than £50. You cannot claim that this is another £135. It has to be one consignment less than £135. So this is more relevant to a drop shipping model and that is bringing in, fulfillment through China and doing small items up to £135. Now, to find out the intrinsic value, you also need to work out how this intrinsic value is worked out. So it's the actual amount of sales for that specific order, on excluding the tax and insurance, plus any other taxes you've paid. So there's a bit of a calculation that needs to happen, but it's not as simple as just your cost. Now onto the marketplace. What is the marketplace? Any online platform or app that facilitates sales of goods to the customer and facilitates its supplies. So in a way, it sets the terms and condition of it and how a goods supplied to customer. It is involved in authorizing and facilitating payments, and also involved in ordering, delivering of goods. So from my understanding, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, these are the marketplace that falls into this category. Shopify is not a part of this category because Shopify is your own shop and you define the terms and conditions there rather than Shopify themselves. So again, you need to find out which platform you are working on and if they will be applying the same rules to you or not. Now, with all of these new rules comes the question of, do I now need to register for VAT or am I still under the old rules? The two things that I mentioned, the first one is that if you are a marketplace itself, then regardless of what your situation is, you need to register for VAT. And some of my clients, they rather than being an e-commerce client, they're a marketplace themselves. So you need to now register for VAT so you can declare VAT on behalf of others. But if you're any business that sells good without a marketplace like Shopify or any other platform to UK customers, where at the point of sale, the goods were outside UK and they're coming into UK now, and the value of those goods is less than £135, you need to register for VAT. Now, business established outside the UK and selling goods to UK where the goods are already in the UK at the point of sales are liable for UK VAT, and they should already be VAT registered for under existing rules regardless. Now, also wanted to cover a little bit on how registering for VAT, and if the new rules apply to you and the VAT is more applicable to your business, how will it affect your numbers and what will be your P&L and VAT calculation look like? So if you look at your business without a VAT element on it, so let's say you had a sales of 20,000, your cost of goods sold 10,000, your operating profit is 10,000, keeping the numbers very simple. You had an admin cost of 5,000, you paid a corporation tax of 950, and you take home 4,050 pounds. But let's say now you need to register for VAT. And with registration, you then need to decide, do you take the hit on your sales and to be competitive, you keep the 20% VAT on it and reduce your profit, or you have a situation where you charge 20% extra now, but again you are left with the competitive edge on it. So you decide which model you do. On both model, you can see your total sales would still be 20,000, but of that 3,333 would belong to HMRC. But on the other side, because you paid £10,000 on cost of goods sold, out of that 1,600 is something that you can claim back on those payments. Your P&L itself will look like 3,375, and the total payment to HMRC will be 833. So this is the same example of input and output output VAT and the calculation on that. But again, if you're charging VAT on top of your already sales existing price, then you will charge £24,000 to your customers, 4,000 again for VAT. Everything else stays the same. Your net profit would be 6,075 with the value going to HMRC on £1,500. So this is a small calculation just to show you how different elements of VAT will affect your business with different numbers, and you need to decide on which way you need to turn, to be more competitive and still keep your profit. EORI number is now a big factor, and people with import and export into UK and Europe plus outside Europe will need an EORI number. My colleague Chris will catch on this a lot more, but from UK perspective, anyone selling to Europe and B2C or getting imports in UK need an EORI number. And the website to apply for one is www.gov.uk/EORI. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill this, and it will take 1 week to get the number. And again, these are basic information like your VAT numbers, if you're a sole trader, your UTR number, business start date, CIS, and government gateway login details, and that's all you need. Last thing I would like to catch up on is Amazon and the changes that they have introduced. Now, Amazon over the last few months have been introducing a lot of webinars and documents on how the VAT will change and what will be the new elements on it, and how you will trade on Amazon. But a quick catch up is, if you are doing Amazon MFN, then you're fulfilling it yourself but selling on Amazon. You now need to take care of custom declaration, tariff payments, and compliance of the product specification. So this is all your personal responsibility now. Any export and import you do to the shipping company, those shipping company will ask you for your HS code, for the payments of the tariffs, and the registration in the country you're selling the goods to. And if you don't have that form in front of you before the shipping agency comes to you, they won't take your goods and they will not pass it on to the country you're trying to sell it to. For Amazon FBA, it's well known that FBA will not be applicable between UK and EU anymore. The note from Amazon says that due to Brexit as of January 1st, 2021, Amazon is unable to fulfill FBA orders across borders between UK and EU. So to sell with FBA, both in UK and EU, you will need to send inventories in both fulfillment centers, and they can then do the fulfillment through their countries in those specific areas. But UK and EU cannot do FBA anymore among each other without paying the import, VAT, and customs. So the small short takeaway from all of this is that at the point of sale, when you're selling your products in the UK, where are the goods. If the goods are outside UK and the value of them is less than £135, you don't need to worry about the import VAT or customs. Your VAT will be handled by the marketplace themselves, which is a really good thing, because you're not then handling the VAT yourself. The marketplace is doing all the declaration, payment, and all the admin work for you. Again, if you're someone who's selling outside the UK into UK with the same shipment cost, the same rules apply to you. The only difference is if it's more than £135, then the import VAT and custom kicks in. But again, with the import VAT, it's now calculated on your VAT calculation rather than on spot. That's it from my side. Gul, I'll give it back to you. And thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you, Taimur, for sharing all those important details. So I'm going to hand this now over to Christoph Chara from Hellotax, the operations manager there, to cover some more elements on EU VAT filing. So on to you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm Chris, and as I was already introduced, operations manager with several years of experience in VAT. Being operations manager in Hellotax since 2018. Let's have a look at the presentation that we prepared together with the team for all of you. Right. Thank you. So if you can please move to the next one. So for the part which is interesting for online sellers, what will change after Brexit? Well, there are two scenarios, two groups we need to consider. If you're in a UK-based seller that would like still to continue to have a competitive deliveries to be trading inside EU, you would have to consider storing inside EU and fulfill those warehouses there. And actually, it applies the same way for EU sellers wanting to have the same thing in UK. Both are separated now. There cannot be any goods movements, like Taimur also mentioned. EU and UK are two separate markets. Yeah. Right. So to still be able to continue trading inside EU as a UK-based seller, first thing is the warehouse, the storing part, but with that, there also is a VAT registration and all the VAT reporting that you will have to consider. One side note from my side is that choosing that place where you would like to be registered or stay registered in is important, because there are some fiscal representation requirements for some countries, and those very often are costing extra. Yeah. And as also Taimur mentioned, the EORI number begins to be very important also for EU part, because if anything you would like to import inside to the EU, then you have to have one of the countries, because that's something you get only in one country. It's an EU EORI number. Yeah. Right. And for the other way around, so if you will be an EU seller still wanting to be to have the competitive option of having your goods stored inside UK, being able to ship them as soon as possible. And now the time is a very important factor for all the buyers, all the clients of marketplaces. You have to have the same thing. So you have to be registered in to VAT in UK and have the returns with their little differences that they were also mentioned of new obligations of marketplaces. But basically, that's the same thing. Now, the next, if we can move, please, go to the next one. I would like just to build on top what Taimur already said, and maybe a bit summarize it as well. So, from the 1st January 2021, marketplaces will be liable for VAT payments. But if you have your own website or if you have B2B sales inside, correct me if I'm wrong, Taimur, but the B2B sale is also one of the things that actually will be part of the domestic reverse charge if the goods are outside of UK, and if they're inside, then this is being actually on the seller side, not marketplace. Yeah.
That is
that
true.
that
Yeah, that's
that
true.
it will be covered. Yeah, and the other part is that it's important also to know that the similar changes, if you can move to the next one, please, Will, now. The similar changes will be introduced inside EU from 1st of July 2021. Yeah, there are different, let's say, rates. Here we talk about 22 euro. There we talk about 150 euro as well of the imports coming inside EU. But basically, the same changes will apply in regards to all the online marketplaces obligations. But in this case, not to UK overseas, but to non-EU countries, which also includes UK. Yeah, there will be some distance say threshold limits also changes, but more about that in next webinars that Hellotax will introduce in 2021. And yeah, these are just the slides. Okay, and obviously I would like just to have a few words about Hellotax. We are an in-house accounting company. We have built our VAT automation tools in order to be competitive with our prices. But for for the cases that require human touch, the ones that need to be individual, we still have our accountants and experts in VAT. Yeah, we will gladly assist you in staying or becoming compliant in EU and also in UK. Thank you.
Um, Chris, before we move on, just a quick question on that. I think some of the existing customer and new audience would like to know is a UK customer trying to sell in EU now. Does that mean that they now have to register for each EU country to sell in EU for VAT, or they can select one country and trade it like that? So do you know anything about the VAT registration, or is it still, because the Brexit deal hasn't been done yet, so it's still not unclear at the moment?
The VAT registration is an obligation that is linked more with the storing inside that country. So if the customer that you are, I do not see yet I don't see the question, but let's say if you are storing inside EU in any of those countries, you probably already are registered, right? And
Okay.
if not, then yes, you should be registered for VAT. Well, if you just are thinking about selling to EU,
Mm-hmm.
then this will be an export, right? You just have to think about that. It's not a normal sale that you used to do, yeah. And those simplifications that Timur was mentioning for selling to UK from EU, they are not yet introduced inside EU. So if the situation is the opposite one, and you are selling from UK to EU, there are no simplifications like marketplaces taking care about custom duties and etc. for deliveries below the threshold limit of 150 euro in case of EU. Therefore, you are exporting it. You need a EORI number in UK and etc. Yeah. So if you would like, it's not essential to selling your goods to EU, but because that it's linked with additional procedures and the time that the delivery needs to be processed with. Okay, so because of this, you are losing your competitiveness on the market. So clients might be more willing to choose someone who will ship the product, the next day and not in a week.
Understood. Thank you for that. And this was a question from me, not the audience, but thank you for answering the question
Sorry,
from
I
me.
didn't catch that. Good.
So I think I'll pick the first question, and I have a question here from Dimitri. By the way, everyone who's joined in, if we are able to answer your question on this platform, we definitely will. If we are not, because the Brexit rules are still not confirmed and things are changing, we will definitely get back to you within 24 hours through an email on your question that you have asked. But the first question from Dimitri is, hi, could you please clarify how could we sell to the UK dropshipping business from China own store if we still wouldn't have VAT and EORI number? We applied it through Osome, but we wouldn't have it before January. Okay, so then the main element that you need to consider here, Dimitri, is if the dropshipping business is more or less through your own channels and not through, or it could be through Amazon as well if you're storing, doing the fulfillment to Amazon warehouse. Again, if it's a marketplace that is fulfilling your dropshipping model, then again, any consignment coming in within the limit of 135 pounds for each drop shipping consignment, you're not liable for the VAT, or you're not liable for the VAT. The Amazon itself is. But if you're doing it on Shopify, and then you are, then you need to register for VAT and EORI number. And in terms of the delay in time of the VAT registration and EORI number, if you won't get it in January, I was just reading an article from HMRC this morning that you need that in order to get your custom clearance for your products. And if you don't have them, that your products will be in customs. However, given the time crucial circumstances, I've just read somewhere, which is not 100% confirmed yet, that this might extend up until March to give people allowance on registration. But again, up until now is up until 1st of January, but it might extend just for the paperwork basis. But as I said, I will find more details and go through the HMRC website and give you a clear, definite answer on that in next 24 hours. Okay, so the next question again is related to UK. Chris, if you're okay if I take the next one as well?
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's from Rab Hasham. What about if a UK-based drop ship seller is still below VAT threshold? Do you still need to be VAT registered immediately? Again, it all depends on marketplace and how you are trading. So if you are trading and at the point of sale, so let's say you're on Shopify and someone came, add a product to your cart and paid you or paid Shopify the money, that's money is now in your wallet. At that point, the goods were not in UK, the goods were in China because you're drop shipping. And now you're going to bring that products in and that product will be less than 135 pounds. Then yes, you need to register for VAT in order to get that item here and declare that VAT on the point of sale rather than on point of import itself. So to answer your questions, it depends on which marketplace you're on and where you're trading. Chris, do you want to take any questions?
Well, I take the other one, so you can take this one because this is more related to, I think, your
Sure. So Nettle from Weymouth is asking, what is the easiest way to register for VAT in other countries?
This I will take. I think there's
this you will
one
take. Okay.
above, isn't it?
Tim Sanders?
When we apply, when we will have VAT and EORI numbers, what we have to pass to our supplier in China to send items to UK. Yeah, should we?
So I can't see the question. Sorry, bear with me.
It's also from Dimitri.
Dimitri, okay. Let me have a look. Yeah, when we will have VAT and EORI number, what we have to pass to our suppliers in China to send the items to UK? Should the supply include our branded invoices with VAT? Again, yes, you would have to, because what I've seen the custom declaration document from what it would look like, and anyone importing or exporting to UK will have to fill that up, and in that there was an EORI number as a necessity. And again, I don't think VAT registration number was a necessity, because the way EORI number is made is GB, your VAT number plus 4 zeros at the end. So it's an extension of your VAT number. So I don't remember it asking for it, but it did ask for EORI number. So yes, you would need to provide that to your Chinese supplier.
Okay, good. So let me take the other question. What's the easiest way to register for VAT in other countries? Well, I would rather understand it like which is the country that is the easiest to register to. Yeah. Because the easiest way to register in another country would be which country you could really register yourself, which I can say that pretty simple is the registration in the Netherlands from EU, while the country that we consider as the one that is business-wise also interesting, considering also Amazon platform, that would be Germany. Yeah, and Germany is pretty straightforward without any special documents on top of the regular ones that you anyway will be asked. And the good thing of registering in Germany is that it's also not requiring any fiscal representation. Yeah? So that will mean that you will not have to face additional costs of having let's say, the specialized type of representation. Yeah.
There's a question from Adam Goldwater. Why do we need to store in EU to sell in EU? Why can't we ship good across the border with DPD? Chris, I did a bit of a research on this. Adam, imagine if you are importing from any part outside UK and EU. When the goods are coming into UK, you're paying the import VAT and customs on it. Then you're selling it to EU. You're going to pay another customs and import VAT in EU. So on a singular product, you are paying import VAT and custom twice to move it around. So that's why it's suggested by Amazon and many, accountants and stuff, that to save that extra import and custom that you would pay again and again to cross the borders, it's better to store your goods in one country, like direct from China or Vietnam, direct from them to EU, and store it there and sell it from there and record that sales in UK. But avoid this chain to avoid the customs and import VAT that you pay on each border. And that's why it's suggested to do in that way.
Also, if I can build on top of your answer, Timer, in regards of deduction of the VAT payable amount, right? So if you are actually storing, let's say, in Germany and you are importing to Germany, you are deducting that import VAT on the VAT payable, and you have more or less an easier cash flow than if you would be importing it to UK, let's say, let's say we are importing it to UK, but you actually are selling it to EU, which, as mentioned, after July 2021, 1st July 2021, will introduce the same rules as UK. So you will pay not the import VAT to EU, but sales tax, actually kind of a sales tax VAT one inside EU, right? But you will not be able to deduct the import VAT that you paid in UK. It's a separate market, right? Think about the impact of for your cash flow in the end. Yeah?
Absolutely. Falling down from Rob Hashim again, define marketplace. Do you mean Amazon, eBay? Again, there are three different criteria to define a marketplace, and that is they not only sell your product, they also do the shipment, define the shipment. Again, the three criteria are if they define the terms and condition of the delivery, they define the terms and condition of pricing, and they get involved in the delivery of it, then it's a marketplace. Now, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, they fall under this criteria. So that's what a marketplace is. And again, if you have your own website and you're selling it through Shopify and stuff, that's not a marketplace. That's a platform. Chris, do you want to take a question from Tim Sanders about troubled country?
Yeah, okay, I can have a look at it. What about the troubled countries? Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland. Okay, these are, some of them are outside EU. These are territories which I stopped serving because my fulfillment house will not send to them unless I have a VAT number of the customer, unless I have a VAT number, or the customer has a company VAT registration number. Does serving from EU relieve me this problem? Is there a VAT threshold for EU? So, for example, okay. Well, I think that actually the last part, so the VAT threshold, that's only applicable for home country. Yeah. So let's say if you are a UK seller, you have the threshold limit in regards of your VAT transactions inside UK. Yeah, but nothing like this exists for other countries. For other countries, there are two reasons currently to register, which is first, storing in that country, and other is skipping the threshold distance sale threshold limit, which is also only calculated inside EU. Yeah. I don't know what exactly the team meant by troubled countries: Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland. I know in Sweden, currently actually Hellotax is offering also registrations in Sweden. I don't see any troubles there with working inside that market. Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, yeah, there are some limitations, but these are actually not inside the group of like EU, right? It's inside EU. There are certain simplifications, which in those countries, except of Sweden, because Sweden is right inside EU. Um, for other countries, that other three countries, you don't use those simplifications. You can have access to those simplifications. So these are exports. Yeah? That's again, that's not part of this Brexit changes. That's not part of the changes that will also apply the 1st July 2021 in EU.
Thank you, Chris, for that. A quick question from Daniel about the Amazon fees that I mentioned. Daniel, I'll be honest with you, it's still not very clear. But what I know so far is that just like similar to eBay, eBay registered in 2017, I think, for UK VAT. And any fees that they charge in UK, and we can claim it back through input VAT. At the moment, you're right. For Amazon fees, we do use reverse charge. But what I know that once they register for VAT in UK, any services they provide in UK will be subject to UK VAT, which would again mean you'll be able to claim input VAT. But with their main office being in Luxembourg, I don't think they can still operate in that way, because the new rule is that the marketplaces need to register in UK. So I'm assuming that all the fees that Amazon will charge you for the marketing and fulfillments and everything will be 20% with 20% VAT. And how they do it? Do they add extra 20% or keep their prices? That's obviously that's internal to them. But whatever they pay charges for fees, my suspicion is that we will be able to claim it back, because now they will be a UK VAT registered business.
If I can, Timur, just add to one thing, because it's also for Amazon sellers, it's important also to keep in mind always that we have two different fees, right? Two different categories of fees. The ones that are linked with the tangibles, so with the warehousing services, okay, they are always obviously charged in that country, because they are related to the intangibles, right? So they are rated to the warehouse, they are rated to the logistic services that Amazon or other companies provide. And the other thing is, which Timur also picked up and focused on, which is the marketing part, right? Because the marketing part, it basically is a service which is not linked with with a given country. That means that always being built from Luxembourg. And we don't yet know how that will be actually invoiced inside UK after the Brexit and the changes. We can assume that it will work similar to the MOS system, so that we currently have already working for digital services. And we know that when a US provider actually is operating inside EU wants that provider to have registration and wants to pay the VAT to be paid inside EU for those services. So we can expect, as Timur mentioned, that this will be inside the UK because of this.
Thank you, Chris. I think the question from Adam about VAT in European country is more related to you. So I will try to answer Dimitri's question. Can we sell on Shopify store without charging VAT before and after January 1st, but send item to customer physically after when we get an EORI number? Dimitri, I'm trying to understand. So can we sell Shopify store without charging VAT? Okay. You can do it without charging VAT if you're not VAT registered before 1st of January for sure. But after VAT, after 1st of January, if the consignment is less than 135 for dropshipping purpose, you need to register for VAT. But your second part is, but send item to customer physically after okay, understood. So you're saying that you do the sales now, but you do the delivery after you get an EORI number. What I've read is that any sales up until 11 p.m. on 31st of December, you don't apply the new rule. So you sell all of it up until on the same, and the delivery of it will still be under the same rules. But after 11 p.m., any sales coming on your platform from Shopify and other platforms, then the new rules will apply to you. So for those rules, you will need VAT registration number in your EORI number and do the declaration of sales at the point of sale. And for that, it's all about getting the goods into UK, and to get the goods, you need an EORI number. So we need, again, customs is slightly different to accounting perspective, but again, as I said, we have got a few partners in customs as well, so I can find out more about that and get back to you on that. Adam Goldberg, do we need registration for VAT in every European country that we sell to, assuming goods are made and stored in UK and shipped directly to various EU country? Short answer is no, but Chris, please go ahead.
No, that's a good that's a good answer. The only thing is, again, Adam, keep in mind, me as a customer, me myself buying myself a laptop, or whatever, actually, headset, or whatever headset, whatever I wish. If I need to pay some extra taxes, if I need to go through the customs clearance procedure, rather than having something, you know, delivered to me in another day, it's all about the price. If you have such a competitive price that even after paying, because keep in mind, those will be paid by the client, by your client, right? So your client will need to be informed by you that when he buys from you, he will need to pay the custom duties and he will pay the VAT, most depending on the value of the product that you ship, but most probably he will pay also VAT on it. So therefore, it costs him more than you offer, okay? And also it's the time that it takes to get the product, yeah? So you don't have to have it. You don't have to have it. But just keep in mind what kind of offer you will be able to present to your clients, right?
Quickly answer Daniel Little. So he's asking if there's any written documentation which suggests that Amazon will be charging those fees. Daniel, as I said on the presentation itself, and again that I'm assuming this case because what eBay did, and again what the new requirement is for the marketplaces and the services that will be provided in the UK and what they need to do. Again, Amazon can still operate through Luxembourg and provide other services like into Europe, and how the VAT treatment of that would look like is not very clear at the moment because we don't have those answers. But I'm making an assumption that based on what other marketplaces are doing, Amazon might do the same. But again, Amazon is, you know, a lot more different, a lot more bigger, and different rules applies to different ways of their doing activities. So as and when we have a definite answer on what it would look like, you will be updated with an email on that.
Right. And I will just pick up the last question from, that will be the last one that we do on this call, which will be from Tim. What happens in the troubled countries is that if you are not VAT registered, it gets stopped at customs and there is an admin nightmare. I might have missed it, but what is the VAT percent in EU? I think, Tim, you are from outside EU, therefore the question comes. In EU, there are different VAT rates and different ones, not only per country, but also per products that you sell. So multiple VAT rates, okay? And in case of what you mentioned now, I think I understand now what you mean, which is that to do an export from any country to let's say to do an export from UK to Norway, you have to have an EORI number. And from 1st January 2021, you will have to have a UK EORI number. EORI number is a number that you have to have as an importer, but also as an exporter. Yeah. So that is this might be the reason or the issue that you were facing here, because you will have to do certain customs reporting at your site as an exporter as well, and then the delivery is picked up by the customer needs to do some clearance as well. It's not, again, as I was mentioning on the question with Adam, that's the thing, that the customer has some procedures, paperwork to go through sometimes, and if he doesn't succeed with them, he will not get the delivery. Yeah, and with the delivery, he pays additional fees. Okay.
Summarize all of this again. We know that you know, it's a completely different waters and the way that things are working out. It's you know, the Brexit deals is still not finalized, but these are the rules that are being put in place regardless of what happens with the deal and how the EU and UK will work. And again, we are, and me especially, keeping it up to date on UK website, forums and results. So if you need further clarification, we are doing free consultations, and you can just call and book that in and have a discussion on that. For any Hellotax customer here, if you're coming through Hellotax to us, please feel free to get in touch and mention that you're from Hellotax, and we'll be able to provide you some discounts. But again, anyone who wants to just find out more about this and what knowledge we have, I'm more than happy to pass it on without any extra cost. But thank you for your time, and thank you for attending today. It's been a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Taimo. Thank you, Christoph, and thank you for everyone.
Thank you, guys.
We wish you a great festive period. Season's greetings. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.